Oh, that hurt. What's up, DNC Performance? We are at the shop working on Mike's car. So I got a few things done and I ended up coming in today, but I gotta head out. I'm running late, of course. But I added a fuse panel. You can kind of see it over there. Is we don't have anything fused off that red block. So I've got the boost solenoids. I pulled them out of the Deutsch connector, Mac valves, whatever. I have that wire right here. I'm trying to find another thin orange to go over to the fuse. Then I got the Holley ignition wire up there on the top. So that is on a fuse now. Which that whole red panel, that whole red piece is on a fuse technically. It's a 30 amp fuse. So technically it's on a fuse. And that's kind of why I took the solid state relay, ran it right up to the board. This is the wire goes out to the trans brake. This is the trigger wire that will, I believe, come off the Holley unit. Then I pulled out a few extra wires that we won't need anymore. They were running to that side. One of them was for the brake light, which I'm going to run all new wires going over there. Because I also then started figuring out, okay, what do I need for tail lights, blinkers, all that stuff. I mean, he needs tail lights and brake lights at the very minimum. So I did the Deutsch connector on the steering wheel, and that's zip tied real good up in there. And then the Deutsch connector's over here. So now I know I need a ground and I believe 2 inputs will come over. I know at least 1 input. Yeah, it'll be 2 inputs from the Holley will come over to here. Then I started looking at the harness. And he kind of had a couple of wires done up, but he had mentioned it was freaking stuff out. So I ended up just going to the back. Ugh, and just kind of looking like that's an easy one. Green with a red stripe. This is ground. Black is ground. Sometimes they're weird. Then you've got a brown and a red. Okay, so you got 2 browns. So that tells me that's tail light. Red must be brake light. You go to the other side, and it's the same thing. 2 brown and a red. And I was like, So I just kind of looked through. Orange with a blue, black with a purple, I believe, is on that one. Yeah, black with a purple, or green with an orange, brown and red. So I came up here, and what I did was I took my test probe and I just started pulling the colors I found out. Red. Oh, it's actually red with a blue stripe, whatever. But there's the orange with a blue. Here's black with a purple, orange with, or green with an orange. So I just started pulling them out, lighting them up, and I set my phone up on the bead roller and just hit record and just started stabbing until I found all the wires. Some were in this big connector, and there was one in this connector. No, there's 2 in this connector actually. See the black with the blue stripe? That is different. I did something different with that one, but there was that black with the purple right there is that little cut one right there. So that was actually strung down to this one. I had a little trouble because there is no black. Yeah, there's no black. Oh, it was the black with the blue. Sorry. That one I was actually trying to give them a fuel level. So might as well, if the wires are here, there's a bunch of extra wires coming back here. So that tank has a sending unit in it. Might as well give them a fuel level. So I just found a connector, which I tossed it in the bucket. But it had 2 wires on one side and 1 on the other. I didn't see it. Yes, there it is. So you see there's black with a blue, black with a blue, and then a black. And the black is a ground. Then the 2 black with a blues came up front this is one of them here, which actually just loops over to here. So I cut that one, and that was not it. And then there it is on that side. You can see where the 2 wires are cut. So I cut the other one, and then because there's 2 in the back, right here's the other one where I cut it. I took one or the other, just picked one, came up front and probed between the 2 that I cut off, found it. So now I've got outer is taillights, and I wrote outer, then inner, and just went through and watched the video and see what was what as far as brightness and stuff like that. So this brown is actually both taillights. Then this is both brake lights. So you can see it says outer. It looks weird, but it says outer brake. Then inner passenger side is what I originally wrote, but it only lit up the one. That's a blinker. Inner driver side blinker and reverse. So I'm gonna hook the reverse up to the trans brake. So when he holds the trans brake and puts the car in reverse, it actually lights up the lights. Blinkers I won't hook up, but I will give him wires maybe up to the column, because Motion makes like a blinker switch that you could do, but you'd have to add in a flasher and all that stuff, and you really wouldn't even be able to mount it onto this style column because it's so far down with the ignition. So he could kind of figure that part out. It's not a big deal, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wires here. So I will put a 6-pin Deutsch connector here, and then that'll go, the brake light will go up to the brake light switch. Fuel level will come up to the dash, which he bought one of those cheap harnesses for, like the knockoff harness that supposedly plugs into them. I might try to add that in because I got to add in fuel level, and reverse will go over to the trans brake. Fuel level go up to the dash. Blinkers I'll just leave them with 2 wires coming up. He could always wire that in later if he wants. But then outer tail light will bring over to the panel where it's headlights, and then the outer brake light will bring it up to the brake switch and then feed power from the brake switch. Then he has windows, which I believe is this red wire going to the pink, which we could probably just leave that one there and then loom everything in with it. So we should be good there. Unfortunately, they delayed my fittings, so they were supposed to be here today. They're not going to be. I do have the aluminum bung coming for the radiator. I'm going to weld it in, run the steam port over to it. But the AN fittings for the back of the intake for the vacuum line aren't going to be here now till tomorrow, which sucks. But I could put it here. Because that will give us manifold vacuum. I may just put it there just to get it back together. Which I could leave this capped. I'll cap this side here. And then I should be able to get to this one and just put an AN fitting going off to the side. Yeah, I'll have to look at that. It might look a little goofy, but it might not be too bad. But it'll be easier to access than this line. Only issue with that is if I take it out of the manifold, which is what I would want to do, I have to take the map sensor that's like all glued in. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how far I get. Because I still have to do the Deutsch connector for the Mac valves on this. Nothing like just random ass people walking in. But anyways, so yeah, so I have those two, I believe, dome pressure? No. Oh no, that goes to the Mac valve, and that goes to the Mac valve. Never mind. I also made the alternator wire, the end. Got it hooked up onto the starter down there. You probably can't see it. Nope. Can't see it. But it's hooked up to the starter. Runs off to the side, runs down and under, so it's away from all the heat. So that's all good. So yeah, I mean, it's coming along. I pretty much, doing more than what he asked, but something I enjoy doing. So I'm going to give him as much as I possibly can, as neatly as I possibly can, so that this way here, we don't have to worry about nothing. The other thing I was kind of sort of thinking was these big heavy gauge wires would almost be nice if they came back here, which I think they do right there. It'd almost be nice to be able to eliminate like the fuel pump wire, tie that into the Holley up there. You'd be able to eliminate that wire. But he's got it running all the way under the car, so I'd have to go under there, take it out, feed it over to here. So we may not do that until something later on down the road. But yeah, for today, that is about it. That's what I got done. Most people hate wiring. I love wiring. I like it. It's tedious, time consuming, but I find it fun. So I try to do everything as neat as I can, but that's about all we got for today because I got a whole butt. But appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified of new videos, and leave me a comment. Y'all have a good day.